A CGC certified comic book has once again made history.
The most expensive comic book in the history of comic book collecting. It blows the record out of the water, and it will be a tough one to break.
Hi everyone, I have got some extraordinary news. I'm Matt Nelson, president of CGC Comics, and I'm here with Vincent Zurzulo of Comic Connect. And then what's the big news?
Well, over the last 40 years, our company has continually broken record after record in the vintage comic book market. And I'm very proud and very excited to announce we've done it once again. We have now broken the record for the most expensive comic book in the history of comic book collecting with the Action Comics #1 CGC graded 9.0 Nicolas Cage copy, sold for a record-breaking $15 million.
$15 million, that's incredible. That blows the record out of the water.
It blows the record out of the water, and it will be a tough one to break.
So not only is this the most important comic book in the history of comic books, and not only is this the highest grade CGC's ever given to an Action one, but the story behind this book is incredible in and of itself. So, Vincent, tell me about that.
What's interesting about it is it was part of the Nicolas Cage collection of comic books. Nick Cage was an incredibly passionate comic book collector, and during one Christmas, he had his comic books on display in these beautiful shadow boxes in his mansion. All the shadow boxes were connected to a security system and were locked, and he unlocked it and turned off the security system during this party, and unfortunately 3 comic books were stolen, including this Action Comics #1. Fast forward 11 years later, we get a call from someone who says they have an Action Comics #1 in California. My partner, Stephen Fischler, flew out to California to try to help with the investigation. He gets out there and meets with the detective, and the detective told him what their plan was to go and meet, and eventually he would tell the sellers that he's a detective. So they go and meet with the seller, and eventually they show him the book. Steve recognizes the book as 100% the Nicolas Cage copy, verifies it with the detective. The detective introduces himself as a detective, and they quickly recover the comic book for Nick. Fast forward a few months later, we auction off this comic book at Comic Connect for what was then a record-breaking $2.2 million. And from that point on, it stayed in a collection. And recently we were able to bring this book to market at, again, a record-breaking $15 million.
This story behind this book, it's almost like the Mona Lisa being stolen.
It's very similar. The Mona Lisa, for those of you who are not aware, was never considered Da Vinci's greatest work of art until it was stolen. And it went missing for 2 years and had been kept under the bed of the thief, and was recovered later on, and then that's what got it the notoriety. This book, unlike the Mona Lisa, has always been considered the holy grail of holy grails, but becoming possibly and probably the most well-known comic book in the history of comics, Nicolas Cage copy of Action Comics #1.
And this was Nick's pride and joy in his collection.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that record sale of 2.2 million, but this book has actually broken the record several times, starting with when it first came to market in 1992, Sotheby's auctioned it for $82,000.
Yes, and that was a record then. And then in 1996, my company, Metropolis, sold it for what was then a record $150,000.
And then of course, after the 2.2 million sale, fast forward to today, and now we have
$15 million.
Yes, it's gonna be a hard one to top.
Yeah. I'll never forget the first time I held this copy in my hands, and it's just as exciting today to have it again. It is an extraordinary piece of comic book history, and I'm so excited, so proud, so humbled to be able to sell this copy again.
And CGC, of course, is humbled to have graded the copy and held it in our hands and be able to just hold this treasure in our hands, this amazing copy of Action 1. All the copies that we've graded, this one is obviously one of the best in the world. And it's such a pleasure and such an honor for CGC to have certified it. And of course, we've added from the collection of Nicolas Cage to the label to
commemorate it.
To commemorate
to notarize
it,
yes. it as the copy.
Yes.
It's really quite a thrill.
Well, this is a heck of a start to 2026, everyone. So stay tuned for more exciting news this year. Thanks for watching. See you soon.